Ooh, don't go out now. Don't go out. I'm going to need a new candle before too long. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lane Russell, and you're watching Midnight. I'd like to go over once again the fact that this is a work entirely of my own opinion, and the air conditioner is not blowing out the flame, I hope. No. This is a work of my own opinion and does not represent the views of YouTube or Dailymotion or whoever. Alright. To get the show on the road then, today, I want to say that the conversation is over. I'm done. I've had enough of trying to reason with the unreasonable. The entire agenda of the current administration represents one prolonged, coordinated assault not only on my intelligence, but also the intelligence of every American who actually understands the Constitution of the United States. The excuses I hear otherwise rational people making for this current administration require a degree of mental and ethical flexibility, which I simply do not possess. The current disconnect of leftists from reality and the insanity they repeat as though it were gospel, the endless justifications not only for the Obama administration's constitutional abuses, but also for failing to apply the most fundamental common sense, have led me to believe that the left are either in dire need of involuntary hospitalization or are just plain stupid. The pertinacity with which the left maintain their opinions, no matter how ludicrous, has led me to believe there is no longer any profit in trying to forge a common ground. I know it's kind of shocking to some people that I'm not calling for bipartisanship or understanding or reaching across the aisle. But the fact is, bipartisanship is killing us. It's like dealing with the Middle East. The Democrats insist, as they did during the Cold War, on appeasing the enemy. Our president apologizes for our country's past greatness at every opportunity. His officials send taxpayer money and military weaponry to the Muslim Brotherhood, or whatever organization is available. And wonder of wonders, the terrorists still don't like us? It's the same between Democrats and Republicans. Republican Party leadership abandons conservative principles to make Democrats happy, and Democrats still treat the Republicans like dirt. I left the Republican Party when I realized they were no longer my party. The party leadership decided that the way to victory was being more like Democrats, despite Tea Party's gains in the 2010 midterm elections and the rampant popularity of conservative media, and a new Democratic Party scandal almost every week. Is this what John Boehner wants us to act like? This is what we're supposed to emulate? I have a question. Why do conservatives care what the other party thinks about us? Why do we want them to like us? Their moral bankruptcy pretty much nullifies any claim they can make to the high ground. The more they talk, the more things they say, the less seriously I am able to take them. The most recent political Facebook post I've read was some idiot who made a George Bush macro blaming him for President Obama's failures and gloating prematurely about the demise of the Republican Party. When people make or like things like that, I cannot take them seriously. And that's what brings me to my next topic. You see, it doesn't matter to me if the Republicans get their heads out of their colons or not. I don't need to rejoin them to define my position. I don't care about bipartisanship. I don't care about playing nice. I have a mission, and that mission is to relentlessly mock, denigrate, and shame the Democratic Party until everyone sees them as I do. Cartoon characters, cardboard cutouts, walking, talking stereotypes, the very soul and substance of hypocrisy, unworthy of credulity, living jokes, breathing punchlines. I'm already anticipating the whining protests of the more leftmost set of the audience, and I'm looking forward to them. In actuality, I'm hoping that my antagonism may serve a constructive purpose, that by shaming the Democrats, assuming there are any Democrats left who understand or know how to feel shame, I can convince those members who actually do value the Constitution and the rights therein delineated to leave that particular party. I'm neither holding my breath nor quitting my day job. I came to realize the necessary course when I would read posts online of people who even though they were otherwise intelligent and very thoughtful, would shill unashamedly for this failed criminal administration with no sense of irony. These people weren't just drinking the Kool-Aid, they were snorting it. When Attorney General Eric Holder armed the Mexican cartels, nothing was done. That clown got off scot-free. On the other hand, when anybody spoke the truth, they would be mocked, mercilessly. Responses to their concerns would sound something like, "We don't want free health care, we want affordable health care." Or, "Nobody wants to take your guns, all we're asking for is reasonable and common sense measures to keep guns out of the hands of criminals." And my bullshit detector would spike off the charts. They would continue, however, saying stuff I knew to be patently untrue and actually believing it. They weren't being contrary to win an argument. They weren't playing devil's advocate. They believed everything they said. So hearing of the book that was supposedly the playbook of the left, I ordered a copy of Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals, and I realized, once I had finished reading it, that I would have to adapt his strategy, co-opting the best of what would work, and discarding all of that leftist codswallop. Alinsky wrote of the necessity of demonizing the opposition, denying them credibility, mainly because we wouldn't have had an American Revolution had the Founding Fathers said, "You know, King George really isn't the problem. It's those crazy guys in Parliament who keep taxing us 1 or 2% without telling us. Parliament's really screwing up. It's maybe 2 or 3 guys in Parliament," and that would not inspire anybody to action. Alinsky also wrote that mockery was your most potent weapon. And that'll be the easy part. The Democrats do not need my help to make them look like a party of corrupt, incompetent hypocrites. They will need my help to make it funny. And honestly, that couldn't be easier. Regarding the Fast and Furious scandal, for instance, the absurdity of an administration that works in secret to disarm its law-abiding citizens, but also willingly walks automatic weapons to criminal entities in violation of federal and possibly international law, that's comedy gold. Or take the fact that party made such a show of defecating themselves in terror over the phantom menace of civil liberty violations in the Patriot Act, for which they themselves voted, are abetting their own president in his very real violations of the Fourth Amendment by snooping through the records of cell phone users. Verizon is just the one we found out about, but I think it's very likely that AT&T, C Spire, and Sprint, and whoever else is out there, is probably in on it. I think Jay Leno said it best when he said, "We wanted a president who would listen to everyone. Now we've got one." The anti-gun propaganda of the left further renders it impossible for me to respect any argument they can make. For instance, at the University of Little Rock in Arkansas, I got that backwards, the University of Arkansas at Little Rock, concealed carry permit holders are not allowed to bring their guns on campus, despite several incidents of student and faculty being assaulted. A campus detective advises potential victims to glance or nod at possible attackers, showing awareness of their presence. No word on what to do if a potential attacker is not disarmed by a nod. "Hey bro, I see you over there, getting ready to attack me. You'll probably stop now that I know you're there." Colorado State Representative Joe Salazar as much as said straight out that women being raped are too stupid to know who's doing the raping, and may shoot the wrong person if permitted to carry a gun. Senator Dianne Feinstein, in response to the case of Christopher Dorner's one-man homicidal rampage, asked for both civilians and law enforcement to be disarmed. "When the gunman realizes nobody else is armed, he will lay down his weapons and turn himself in. That's just human nature," read the statement made by a communications intern, betraying Senator Feinstein's woefully inadequate grasp of human nature. I am appalled and alarmed by the fact that the speakers in all of these instances apparently believe what they're saying, and I am insulted that they expect me to believe it also. If I may quote Twisted Sister here, if that's your best won't do. Or what about so-called pro-choice activists whose real aim is to generate as many abortions as possible? Abortion clinics make money from the misery of abandoned women and the murder of helpless innocents. No one's been following the money in these places lately. I should start looking, and I will let you know what I find out. I mean, Kermit Gosnell kind of put the lie to the whole safe, legal, and rare slogan of which abortionists are so fond. First, his clinic highlights the lie of the stated mission of so-called pro-choicers. Also, the racism inherent in the abortion industry, the truth that abortion is murder. You know what? I think there's enough material here to do a whole other video on. We'll get to the hypocrisy of choice next time. My point here is that the Democratic Party and the entire left wing of American politics provide endless fodder for embarrassing anyone who buys into their broken values and insane ideas. In addition, there's another Alinskyite strategy we must adopt. We must make the morally and ethically bankrupt agents of self-destruction live up to their own standards. Live down to their own standards. Either way, we must ensure that they embrace them totally. Alinsky correctly observed that no one can live up to Christianity. Of course, actual Christians know that that's kind of the point, what with human frailty and all that. But Alinsky wrote that since no one can live up to the impossible standard that Christianity set for its followers, the movement should insist that their opposition give in to their demands or be exposed as hypocrites. Whereas our opponents thrive on presenting themselves as decent people in spite of the corrosive ethics they practice without so much as a sting on their conscience, we have the opportunity to write their hypocrisy larger than ours could ever be, and we must exploit this weakness before it's too late. Don't think I'm here for a fair exchange. I'm not here for discussion. That's done. Finished. The time for compromise is over. I'm no longer interested in persuading people. I'm interested not in getting along or coming together, and I'm certainly not interested in fooling myself. We are in a battle for the soul of this great republic, and I am only interested in one thing: winning. You've been watching Midnight. I'm Lane Russell. Ow! Wax!